What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the two new upcoming packages, the physical infrastructure package known as the American Jobs Plan, and the next stimulus package known as the American Families Plan that the Democrats are proceeding with right now and possibly passing through the reconciliation process, which means the Democrats can pass it completely on their own, and combining those two packages back into one package called the Build Back Better package, or whether or not to pass it with Republican support, as well as what is going on in the world today. In this video, we're going to cover the border wall crisis. We're going to cover $600 stimulus checks going out right now, as well as the fourth stimulus check update and what is the latest on the negotiations for that, as well as Medicare expansion, Social Security increases, and the 15 or 20 different items, stimulus items that they want to put in this next stimulus package. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates. I will keep you up to date on everything. Remember these times, new videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss any episodes so you don't miss out on anything important. Also, if you can, hit the like button for us. It really helps out our channel. Okay, first up, a growing number of Republicans and even some Democrats are growing more and more unhappy with current Vice President Kamala Harris's job on the border crisis. She was put in charge of the border crisis by President Biden 85 days ago. I think it's 86 days now. And she has not even visited the U.S.-Mexican border. She hasn't even physically gone to the U.S. border yet. And as you can see here, 56 U.S. House of Representative Republicans demand that Vice President Kamala Harris be removed from her border crisis role, being in charge of the border crisis. As you can see here, dozens of House Republicans are demanding President Biden remove Vice President Kamala Harris from her leading role handling U.S. migrant crisis, citing her, quote, inaction on the issue. Quote, despite being in the midst of a border crisis this country has not seen in 2 decades, Vice President Harris has not yet shown adequate interest in absorbing this crisis firsthand, wrote Wisconsin Republican Glenn Grotham in a letter to President Biden signed by 56 House lawmakers. Quote, in the 85 days since Vice President Kamala Harris has been tasked with solving the crisis, she has yet to visit the border and meet the Border Patrol agents, immigration and custom enforcement officials, and law enforcement officials. And not only that, but listen to this. I want to know your opinion on this.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the gentleman from Pennsylvania for yielding tonight. Madam Speaker, I rise today to call for immediate consideration of my See the Crisis Act. This legislation would prevent Vice President Kamala Harris from using taxpayer dollars to travel internationally before seeing the southern border crisis firsthand. Vice President Harris was named as the administration's point person on the illegal immigration crisis at our southern border 80 days ago, and this crisis is worsening by the day. Yet the Vice President has refused to go to the border herself and talk to the brave law enforcement officers, the men and women who are fighting this on the front lines. This out-of-sight, out-of-mind approach is a disgrace, Madam Speaker. But let's back up and look at how this crisis has developed on the Biden administration's watch. On day one of this administration, President Biden stopped construction of the border wall. Shortly after, he reinstated catch and release. Now, this turned on the green light at our border. It incentivized the historic surge of illegal immigration that we are currently experiencing in this country. Open border policies are music to the ears of the cartels, the drug smugglers, and the traffickers who make their living on human suffering. And make no mistake, business is good for cartels and drug smugglers under this administration right now.
So let me know your thoughts on this. If you're a Republican or a Democrat, let me know your thoughts. I mean, do you think the Vice President is doing a good job? I mean, she hasn't even visited. Again, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. But I mean, again, I consider myself a realist. I tend to look at things just from a real point of view and then kind of decide. And why hasn't she visited the border in 85 days? I mean, even if you're a Democrat, you got to be like, yeah, that probably doesn't sound right. Like, She probably should go to the border, meet with the enforcement officers, see what's going on, and make some decisions, right? Like, I mean, you're in charge of the border crisis. Like, let's go. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. On stimulus, first, I want to talk about this comment I got yesterday from Mindy Lee Sandelin. Thank you for your comment. She says, "Hello, everybody. I got my California Golden State stimulus check today, which is $600. Just to let you know that if you live in California and you get SSI, you don't need to file taxes to get it." And she just got it yesterday at this point. So the $600 Golden State stimulus checks are going out right now. Now, this is for, again, this is just one of the state stimulus checks going out. Of course, California is one of the first to like start it, and also the largest one. California is the largest state. I had a video yesterday. I'll link it to that at the end of this video. I think it was yesterday, where I did all the states, cities, and counties that are doing stimulus check programs on the state level and the county level, as well as mortgage and rental assistance on the state and county level. There's a lot of programs out there. I'll link you to that video here in a moment. But California is sending out right now still the first round of the $600 stimulus checks for the state of California. The first round goes to people that make up to $30,000 of income. The second round is going to go to people making about 2/3 of all Californians, the people that make up to $75,000. This has not been approved yet, as far as I can tell. I assume it'll be big breaking news once they approve the second round of this, so I will keep you up to date on this. This basically expands those $600 state stimulus checks from $600 or from $600, but from $30,000 of income to people making up to $75,000 of income. And this time around, they're going to include an additional $500 check for Californians with children. So $600 and $500, a total of $1,100. And again, this is a very large, California is the largest state. There's 50 some million people there. And like over 25 million people are going to be getting these $600 stimulus checks alone. The first round's going out right now. In that comment, they mentioned how they're kind of sending them out by zip code right now. So they're kind of going out to different areas. The general rule of thumb and what California has said is they're going to go off your income based off your most recent tax return. The SSI and SSDI is kind of a sticky situation. I've seen so many different things either way, but it does look like you will be getting the stimulus check if you're on SSI in California. And you don't apparently need to file a tax return. Although California says, if in doubt, file a tax return, because that's generally how they're determining if you make below the income threshold. $30,000 for the first round, $75,000 for the second round, if and when approved. It'll probably be approved. It's just a matter of when. And remember, we're going to be seeing this for a lot more states, cities, and counties, as states, cities, and counties are getting $350 billion with a B from the third stimulus check package. That's one of those provisions that most people don't even know about unless they got a 600. It's funny, like a lot of the people, like even from California, they get this $600 stimulus check and they don't even know what it is. They've never even heard of it. So yeah, that's why we cover all these different stimulus provisions. I know that you might not be from California. We cover the child tax credits that are going to start going out on July 15th, $250 to $300 per month per child for the rest of the year. And the first half of the year, you're going to get on your tax return $1,500 to $1,800 for the first half of the year. It's a total of $3,000 for children ages 6 through 17, $3,600 for children under the age of 6, and $500 for college students aged 18 through 24. That's going to go out to 65 million people, 65 million children, I should say. Of course, the checks go to the person who claims them as a dependent on a tax return, mom, dad, or even grandma. I understand you might not be getting that one of those 65 million checks. You also might not be one of the Californians getting 25 million checks. But there's a lot of these different type of programs going on right now that you might not even know about. And I just did a video covering all these different type of programs going on in states, cities, and counties. And I'll continue to bring you the news on all different types of stimulus because I've had people tell me in the comments they've got $10,000, $5,000, $13,000 of rent assistance, And 90 some percent of people wouldn't even know about it if they weren't watching my YouTube channel here, because honestly, the news doesn't cover this type of stuff. And there's dozens and dozens of stimulus check programs going on right now, and there's going to be a lot more. The money going to states and cities, the $350 billion with a B. They just got the money like within the last week or so. Okay, so a lot of these states, like, they take some time to set up these programs. So don't be discouraged if your state, city, or county doesn't have a program like this yet. All the states have to spend a portion of this money on their residents, like programs like this, stimulus checks, mortgage assistance, rental assistance, property tax assistance. And I'll be updating you here on this channel as new programs become available. And honestly, I've seen programs for all 50 states already, whether it was from last year, from the first round when states and cities got money from the first stimulus check package and did all these programs. I remember programs like Orange County, Florida did 3 different rounds of $1,000 stimulus checks, and they were first come, first serve. So if you didn't know about them, or you found out about it 2 days later, they already distributed the money. Again, it was first come, first serve. And I'll be letting you guys know about these different programs as soon as I hear about them. If you know of any new ones, please comment them down below in the comments so I will see them, and or our viewers will see them, and I just might feature you on the channel. If you see a helpful comment like that, give it a like, give it a thumbs up so it rises to the top. The comments that get the most likes generally rise to the top. So if you see a very helpful comment saying, yeah, there's this new program open in West Virginia for $10,000 of rent assistance. If you don't see that comment, you might not know about it. Of course, I'll be covering all these different programs on the channel, but that's why you don't want to miss any episodes, because if you miss just that 1 or 2 episodes where we cover it, you might miss out on a big stimulus check payday. Again, I'll link you to my most recent video I did on all these different state, city, and county stimulus checks here at the end of this video. President Biden is going to be meeting with a bipartisan group of lawmakers this week to discuss the latest infrastructure proposal. This is very important for stimulus because they're really going to go one of 2 routes. And really, this is going to be decided here within the next few days. Number one is the route where they go and they pass the infrastructure package separately, which will be probably around $1.2 trillion, although there's a catch-22 with both of these. Is number one, when they go too low, like the 1 trillion or 1.2 trillion, you start to lose Democratic votes. They think it's too small. About half of that money is not even new money. They're actually using old stimulus money that's available. If you've been watching this channel, you know that there's around $2 trillion of stimulus money passed from the prior stimulus check packages that is sitting there unused. Okay, and now and mostly the Republicans, they want to use about half of the money from that $1.2 trillion infrastructure proposal of old money. So it's really only like half new money and half old money. Democrats want to use very little of the old money for this, or none. They want mostly new money, and they want to be able to use that old stimulus money to repurpose it for stimulus checks and other stimulus types programs with the American Families Plan, which is the next stimulus package. Now, remember, the $1,400 stimulus checks cost about $400 billion. So there's $2 trillion sitting there that's been earmarked for different stimulus programs, not necessarily for stimulus checks, but have already been passed from the first, second, and third stimulus check package. There's $2 trillion sitting there that hasn't been used, okay? They could actually pass, let me see here, 5 different $1,400 stimulus checks with that $2 trillion that's already sitting there. So, of course, I don't think that we'll get 5 stimulus checks out of that because, just from that money sitting there. But it's very, very possible that we could get 1 or 2 stimulus checks out of that, especially as we're seeing more and more support for monthly stimulus checks for people that do not get the child tax credits. Those child tax credits are already monthly checks that are going to be going out on July 15th of $250 to $300 per month. They're an extension or an expansion of the child tax credits, which before President Trump raised, or former President Trump raised to $2,000. Now it's going to be $3,000 to $3,600. But this would be separate from that. This would be for everybody that qualifies most likely for the third stimulus check. This is the bill from the Senate, and the bill from the House, which is for a one-time $2,000 stimulus check, then followed by $1,000 monthly recurring payments that would go until the pandemic is declared over. In addition to this, Senator Bernie Sanders and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer are both processing right now a $6 trillion infrastructure and stimulus package combined, and are planning to pass this with the reconciliation process. As you can see here, without the GOP, which is the grand old party, or the Republicans, to pass this without Republican support if they can't get the infrastructure package passed with bipartisan support. Another thing is a lot of Democrats don't want to pass that because they consider it a too small of a bill. The other thing we keep seeing pop up is Democrats wanting to get rid of the filibuster. That's the rule that makes it so you need 60 votes in the Senate to pass a bill. With the reconciliation process, you only need 50 or 51 votes to pass a bill, and that's how the Democrats passed the third stimulus check package. And if the Democrats were able to get rid of it, they would be able to pass all sorts of bills in the Senate with just their 50 to 51 vote majority. I say 50 to 51 because there's 50 Democrats, 50 Republicans. If 50 Democrats vote yes, like what happened with the third stimulus check package, then the tiebreaker vote goes to the vice president, who's Kamala Harris, for the 51st and the passing vote when they use the reconciliation process. However, they can only use that a few amount of times, and they can't pass every bill with that. Now, what's interesting is that Republicans hate this idea because, Democrats are in control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. But the Republicans wanted to get rid of the filibuster back in 2018. As you can see in this article from 2018, Trump wants the Senate to get rid of the filibuster. And this is from the Washington Post back in April 2018, when the Republicans were in charge of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, but only had 51 votes in the Senate. Sound very familiar? So the Republicans wanted to get rid of the filibuster as early as 3 years ago in 2018. Now, of course, they hate the idea because Democrats are in control. And now Democrats want to get rid of the filibuster, but Republicans just wanted to get to. So again, it depends on who's in control, whether it's the Republicans or the Democrats. They seem to use their power to get as much passed as they can, and really they don't care about the other party at the moment. If they get rid of the filibuster, it would benefit both Republicans and Democrats. Whoever's in control of the Senate at the moment would be able to pass bills with, or in the future even, the Senate would be able to pass bills with just the 50 to 51 votes, which is exactly how the House of Representatives is. You only need one vote past 50% to pass it. In fact, here's an interesting clip from Republican Senator Lindsey Graham over when former President Donald Trump wanted him to get rid of the filibuster so that Republicans didn't have to use the filibuster or could go around the filibuster when they had control of the Senate.
Now, Joe Manchin would say, look, a lot of the stuff that you just objected to is not in my bill. His is a stripped-down version, and he doesn't talk about an independent commission. He just says ban partisan gerrymandering, and as you know, the Constitution does provide for federal oversight of state elections. Here's the practical question here. If you if Republicans vote, as it appears you're going to kill the Manchin version of voting rights, you've already, Republicans voted to kill the bipartisan January 6th commission looking into the insurrection at the Capitol. Do you run the risk that Manchin and a couple of other moderate senators will eventually say, look, bipartisanship isn't working, and you know what, we're not going to kill the filibuster, but we're going to reduce the number of votes you need to stop a debate from 60 to 55. Do you run that risk?
I hope not, because I was in Joe Manchin's shoes. I like Joe Manchin. I'm willing to work with him on infrastructure. We're very close on police reform. You haven't talked about police reform, but I think we can get there. I think Tim Scott and Cory Booker and the rest of us are very close to a police reform package that would be bipartisan. But when we had the House and the Senate and the White House under President Trump, I had a bunch of Democrats wanting to sign a letter with me protecting the filibuster. Every one of those Democrats had fled for the hills. So I was beat on every day. Why don't you give in and agree with President Trump to change the rules so we can get the Trump agenda through? I said, no, I don't think it'd be good for the country. Never once did I go to Joe Manchin or any other Democrat and say, if you don't do some of the things I want, I'm going to agree with Trump Trump to change the rules. I'm not going to be extorted here. I'm asking no more of my Democratic colleagues than I ask of myself. It was very unpleasant to be beat on every day by the President of the United States, President Trump, and his allies to try to change the rules in the Senate to have their way. I said no because it's bad for the Senate. I hope these Democrats understand it's bad for the Senate to change the rules, and I don't want to be extorted. I've got to give 2 or 3 things before they will not change the rules. I don't like that at all. I didn't do that to them, and I wish they would not do this to me.
So that just goes to show you that Republicans and Democrats will do anything when they're in power. And that just shows you the Republicans tried to get rid of the filibuster. Now Democrats are trying to get rid of the filibuster. Honestly, whether you're for it or against it, it probably has to do with if you're a Republican or Democrat. But if they get rid of the filibuster, it would make it for either party, whoever's in control of the Senate at the moment, to pass bills easier. And Senator Joe Manchin seems to be breaking down on this idea and seems to be more and more open to it, especially because he's feuding right now with Republicans. Mitch McConnell's kind of blocking his election bill that is proposed as compromise by Senator Joe Manchin, as well as that the Republicans didn't vote to set up a commission to look into the January 6th riots. And Joe Manchin's not happy about either of these, and he's seeing that bipartisanship really isn't working that well in the Senate, and he's considering getting rid of or weakening the filibuster. So it'll be interesting to see how they pass these next 2 packages, the next stimulus check, the Social Security increase, Medicare expansion. The Democrats have about a year to pass all these things until the next election, because again, if they lose just a single seat, the Republicans will be in charge of the Senate and can pass things through the reconciliation process or even get rid of the filibuster again. So don't worry, I'll keep you up to date with everything stimulus check and everything going on in Washington, D.C. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates. New videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe, it's completely free to do so, and click the bell icon to all notifications to get reminder notifications when we go live with new videos. You can click this video here to see all the state, city, and county stimulus checks and stimulus programs, as well as my wife's special guest appearance at the end of that video. And this video about my newest video about how President Biden wants to raise Social Security. So click on one of those videos next. And thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next video.